I've seen some of my followers' natural testosterons of lifetime natties, and it's like 800 to like 1100. You know, if I had that type of natural test, probably wouldn't have touched stuff for a long time. I was around 600, 700 on a good day. What is up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Today's ASMR sip is 1907water.com, coupon code Russo. ASMR Spritz Intelligent Elephant Hydrogen. Link in the description. Oh wait, it's not out yet. There's your noises. I wonder what it smells like. Definitely buy a bottle. Alright, today's rant is for you guys in the comments. This one's gonna be funny. When would you start PEDs if you knew everything you knew now? And there's no, I wouldn't take PEDs. Like, this is a fun video. We're just playing around. We're gonna see in the comments what people would say. Like, would you start earlier? Would you have started later? This is assuming that at one point you would cross over to synthetic androgens, right? So if that means at 60, when you need 50 milligrams a week of like HRT or something, and you're doing it as low dose as possible, even the Forever Natty, that could be an answer. So I'll go into my reasoning. I don't think I would personally change much in the sense that I trained Natty all the way through high school. I knew for a fact that I was fighting my genetics, and I thought it'd be pretty cool if I could outwork my genetics to a point where completely changed myself as a person. That ended up happening over the years in college, and I did beat out my genetics in my opinion. I might not have the craziest insertions, but the weight I walk around at, the fact that all my clothes are double XL and that I have veins I can see everywhere in my muscles, you know, it means that I put in the work and I put on the muscle. And did I need to start earlier to get to here? I don't really think so. I didn't use as much compounds as most people do. And I always think of the angle of like, when you blast gear like a crazy mofo, you're turning your normal years into like dog years. I was never too adamant about blasting super hardcore in my younger years. If I wanted to blast hardcore, it would be right before 30, when I'm peaking as a male. That was always my thoughts, is build the base when you're young. Try and use as little bit as possible to keep yourself linearly moving along. Don't like sprint forward and then that cycle was so massive and you crawl backwards. Like, just keep on creeping on. And do I think I would have got more out of starting sooner? So for those who don't know, I pretty much 18 and a half decided a Austrian only cycle at roughly 5 to 20 milligrams a day. I know, so insane, but it is a cross from the I'm completely natty to the not natty barrier that was broken at 18 and a half. I love saying 18 and a half. It just cracks everyone up in the comments. But 18 and a half, I decided with the Austrian only. And then that was dipping my feet in. My HBTA, my hormonal axis, did not even shut off. It suppressed, meaning when I dropped the Austrian out, boom, it went right back to normal. Have the bloods to show that my testosterone, natural testosterone, was always around 600, 700. It was never like, I never got to see my natural test and I was like, damn, you know, I've seen some of my followers' natural testosterons of lifetime natties, and it's like 800 to like 1100. You know, if I had that type of natural test, probably wouldn't have touched stuff for a long time. I was around 600, 700 on a good day. I wasn't even really like pushing 800. I don't think so, at least. You know, the way I trained, I never really fully recovered. I overtrained a lot in my younger years. And if you know a lot about natural testosterone, you can't be overtraining. You have to be eating better natural fat. Like, I wasn't doing anything of that nature. So that started me down the path. I ended up doing all the SARMs, documenting them on YouTube of what happened to me, what side effects happened to me, and everything in between. And then around 2021 was when I went full blown on steroids. So that's when I decided to, instead of dip my toes in the water with the SARMs only, to, you know, shove my foot in and like, this is gonna be a risk I take for the rest of my life. This is gonna bring in so much risk into my life. But as far as me needing to go to the gym every day to blow off steam, otherwise I have so much pent up BP energy, you know, that's one of those things I personally weighed out for myself. And then, you know, I knew I'd be in the gym for the rest of my life, and I knew I'd be a slave to this needle for the rest of my life. And I made that decision around 21. I don't really agree for the fact of, oh, you should have waited until you're 30 years old to start juicing. Like, if you're in this day and age with clout, with all the opportunities that you've seen me reap over the years of following me, you'll know that the game has changed and that there are younger guys making a lot of crazy decisions with their personal health based on biohacking, with like a fourth of the knowledge I have, with me not even being the top of the totem pole of biohacking on YouTube, right? So you have a lot going on these days with vanity perception on social media equaling followers, equaling money trees, equaling they don't really have to build any sort of skill set. They never build a skill set. And then, you know, they ride this Instagram thing out, this YouTube thing out until it fizzles out, or they become certified OG, right? So that's why it's like, when would you go on? I'd probably go on maybe 1 year earlier, if that, but I pretty much think I did it right as far as I got to dip my feet in. If I was like, yo, this isn't for me, I got fucked up, I don't want to take the risks. After this, it becomes like a micromanaging health game where if I was natural, I really wouldn't worry about any of that shit. And then, you know, I made all those decisions pretty much around the time where, just being honest, like the clout game, the thing was circling around me, the opportunities were there. I slowly dipped my feet in as the opportunities kept popping and popping and popping up, and that's how I ended up down this path. Same thing with like a UFC fighter. Do you really want to take all that damage? Well, you beat all your matches, you made it into the UFC, you had some good knockouts, you didn't get beat up. Like, there are certain people, maybe the opportunity is worth it, you got to risk it for the biscuit. When would you start? Would you be one of these guys who are like, all the best pros started at 16, 17 years old with actual steroids, where I started at 20, 21? Yeah. There are people who start super early. Some of your favorite bodybuilders, who I'm not going to name drop, they're juicing out the ass like 16, 17. By the time they're 19, like, they're gonna sweep a teen nationals, and then by the time they're, you know, 20, early 20s, you know, they're young pros. And that all starts from, you know, getting on the sauce early. And is that the right way to do it with this day and age in clout? Or is it the right way to preserve your health and then potentially go on around 30 with there not being nearly as many poised benefits? Obviously, you could still become a competitive pro, but if you did it earlier in your life, you may have set yourself up on a completely different life trajectory that requires a whole different lifestyle that you never thought you could get to. And that's always a battle going on these days. So like, the old school guys are like, build your base until 26 and then you can take gear after. I basically did SARMs only, dip my feet in, and then bullshit many cycles that everyone bitches I don't use enough shit in them, and then I built my base, and then 26 comes around. I'm 26 now, and then boom, I could do some real cycles on the base that I built on minor amounts of shit. That's the way I did it. I still racked up all that damage each year of being enhanced on my body, so you could be preserving yourself later. But after a certain point, it's like your paradigms will change, your paradigms will move. Will you still be as interested in becoming a juice monster in your 30s, later in your 30s? And there's also the argument that you peak as a male, 30s, mid 30s, kind of late 40s, that's like your peak. So once you want to build all the building blocks, build all the base, get as big as possible before you peak and regress. These are all certain things, but when would you become enhanced with all that you know now? I think I pretty much did it how I thought I could do it with the little genetics I had. I didn't know if it was completely worth it. There might be a person on the other side of this camera with like masterfully genetics, an amazing personality that holds clout, and overall a trajectory with enhancement to create a life that they never thought they could create. Or it could damage your health. The other dice roll could happen of gear, right? It's not a free ride. Never been a free ride, never advertised it on here as a free ride. But it is interesting because everyone is enhancing nowadays. Everyone. My DM box is insane. I look at these people and I'm not judging, right? Everyone wants enhancement. Everyone wants to biohack, and it's cool. It's just like, I see this trickling down to it's so viciously mainstream that everyone's going to be like, my body, my choice. When did you make the decision to go to the dark side? I'll see you guys in my next video.